everyone! If you enjoy the video, please leave a like and comment what type of content you would like to see next time. Also, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking the video, consider subscribing. Check out the Patreon in the video description for more stories by my team. Enjoy the video!
I sat there looking at the outfit when Cheryl turned to me. "Take off your clothes and put that on, now. Here in the car. I don't want any argument or any questions. I want you to do what you're told, when you're told." I took off my suit coat, slowly, and put it to one side. I looked at Cheryl, who looked impatient and gestured for me to continue. I took my necktie off and put it on with my coat. I slowly unbuttoned my dress shirt, then pulled it out of my pants. I unbuttoned the cuffs on the shirt and took a deep breath before taking it off. I've seen the videos. It doesn't take you that long to get undressed when one of your girls wants you to be with her. Now speed it up or get out at the next light. I was wearing an undershirt, so I pulled that off. My sparse chest hair stuck out as I sat there. I untied and took off both shoes and socks. All I had on still was pants and boxer shorts. I unbuckled my belt, then opened the button on my slacks and unzipped them. I kept hoping against hope that she would relent and tell me she was kidding, but no such luck. I pulled off my pants and sat there in my boxers. "That comes off too. Now move it." I took off my boxer shorts and sat there wearing nothing until she handed me the panties. I pulled them on so I'd have at least something covering me. I had to tuck my thing back between my legs, and the panties seemed to hide them away and look almost as though I had none. It wasn't especially comfortable, but luckily I was so humiliated I wasn't excited at all. Cheryl handed me the dress and I slipped it over my head and pulled it down to cover as much as I could. She handed me stockings, and as I was pulling them up my legs, Cheryl put a blonde wig on my head. She had me put on a garter belt, then fasten my stockings to the garter belt. She gave me some heels to put on, which fit decently. I was surprised that everything fit well, but Cheryl knew my clothing sizes. I put on a half apron, and apart from the lack of a bust, looked pretty much like a French maid. Shortly after, the driver pulled into a parking lot next to a large container. It was a donation box, and Cheryl had him put all the clothes I'd taken off into that donation box. That bothered me, but I figured I had more regular clothes at the house and could change there. We pulled up at the house and the driver let us out. Cheryl and I went in the front door and were met by Jackie and Marie, Cheryl's two maids. I had been with both of them in the past, and we were met with yet more smirks as they saw me. Cheryl pushed me toward the two of them. Personally, I just wanted to run to my room and put on regular clothes, but Cheryl was clearly enjoying this. "I have a new maid, Phyllis. Would you two get her cleaned up, please?" "Phyllis? Yes, that's your name now. Haven't you had enough fun?" "The fun is only beginning. Ladies, Phyllis has too much body hair. It all has to go. Phyllis, you will cooperate with them. If she doesn't, feel free to punish her." The two women took me by the hand and led me to the maids' quarters. There they stripped my clothing off, then put depilatory over much of my body. They shaved my underarms and around my boy parts. I kept wondering just how far they were going to take this, how far Cheryl told them to take this. At one point I got a little fed up with it all and tried pulling away from them. The two were surprisingly strong and got me across Marie's knee, where she proceeded to take a paddle and smack me on the bottom. I couldn't believe that they could or would do that, but they did. I tried to get away, but they held me tight while Marie turned my bottom very red. I finally realized I wasn't going to get away, so I let them do what they wanted. They finished paddling me shortly after. They had me put my panties back on that hid my boy parts. I sat there in nothing but panties with a very sore bottom, wondering how I was supposed to get away from all this. About that time, they put two things against my chest and told me to hold them or I'd be paddled even worse. They were breast forms that the women had put glue on and were gluing to my now hairless chest. That was a pain. Even getting away from them and finding my regular clothes, I'd still have to figure out how to get those damned things off me. Once the glue was dry, they put a bra on me and I put the rest of my maid's outfit back on. I still had on the blonde wig and they proceeded to glue that on as well. Then they sat me down and put makeup on me. We're using long-lasting makeup, so it won't come off as easily. Do we have to? Madam's orders, and you're going to have to learn to do your own makeup, so pay attention. This is ridiculous. Do what you're told or you'll be disciplined again. And if necessary, we'll get the driver and he can really lay into you with the paddle. It was late afternoon by the time they were done with me, and they told me we would all need to serve dinner for Cheryl and some guests that evening. I didn't want any of Cheryl's guests to see me like this, but they told me I'd damned well better do that. I looked in the mirror and could barely recognize myself, and hoped none of the guests would know me. Now I've never been particularly large for a man, around 5 feet 6 inches and 130 pounds, and my features have always been somewhat delicate. I did have an Adam's apple, but they put a choker on me that largely hid that. When I looked in the mirror, I looked about the same as the other two, particularly since they were both about my size. Cheryl had 5 guests for dinner and the 3 of us quietly served the meal to the assembled group. It seemed like everything would go without notice until one of the guests made a remark. "It looks like you have a new maid. Her name is Phyllis, but some of you used to know her as Phil." I could tell I turned bright red and wanted to rush from the room. Jackie and Marie blocked my way and Cheryl spoke to me. "Phyllis, come over here so everyone can get a good look at you." I could hear snickers from some of the guests as I walked over for them to look at me more carefully. I know Cheryl wanted to humiliate me, but this had gone well beyond what I'd even have expected of her. As I had leaned down serving food before, I know some of the men had a good look at my chest additions, which looked quite real. Cheryl had me turn around so everyone could see me front and back, then she had me lean over to show my top installments shifting so everyone could get a good look at them. When I thought it was all over, Cheryl lifted my skirt showing my panties to the assembled crowd. I was embarrassed beyond belief, but knew that even if I escaped to my room, I'd have to figure out what to do with the attachments, and how to get off the long-lasting makeup, pretty panties, and no trace of a bulge. It will still take some training before she is a proper maid, but this is a start. Cheryl let go of my dress and I quickly scurried to the kitchen, hoping I could hide out there the rest of the evening. It was not to be. Jackie and Marie came back and said that Cheryl wanted me to serve dessert to the guests. I took a tray of desserts out and began to serve them. As I did, one of the men grabbed my bottom. I tried pulling away, but to no avail. "Phyllis, don't be rude to our guests. He's just showing his appreciation for your appearance." I stood there as he played with my bottom, then had to go around so each of the other men could do so as well. Wow, I wouldn't mind getting to know that better. Now Frank, they are maids, not for your personal desires. Can't blame a man for trying, can you? As soon as the men were done pawing me, I escaped to the kitchen. Marie, Jackie, and the cook were eating and had a place set for me to have dinner with them. Normally I'd have been offended at having to eat in the kitchen with the help, but compared to what I'd already been through, it was pretty damned benign in comparison. Once we're done eating, we need to clean up the dining room and serve drinks in the study. I'll be happy to clean up the dining room. I wanted anything that would get me away from Cheryl's guests. Madam made it clear she wants you to serve drinks. The 6 people were in the study and I went in to get them drinks while Marie and Jackie cleaned up the dining room and washed the dishes. The 3 women just wanted wine, which I got for them very quickly and easily. The 3 men wanted mixed drinks, but that was no problem. Cheryl had a fully stocked bar and I'd been a bartender in my youth before I met Cheryl. Once I had drinks for everyone, I tried to retreat to the bar to wait on more drink orders, but some of the men wanted none of that. Frank wanted me to sit on his lap, and though I didn't want to, Cheryl made it clear that I should. Needless to say, Frank had his hands all over me. He even tried running his hand up under my dress. I kept my legs tight together and as he reached my panties, someone asked for a drink. Hey guys, the full story is almost 10,000 words and can be found exclusively on my Patreon. Patreon is a great way to support the channel and allow me to continue making videos like this. Please consider joining. See you guys next time.